All right, let's connect it up here. Waiting for the YouTube to connect with my software. And today is May 29th, 2022, Memorial Day weekend coming at you. So we're going to talk about the Walking Dead universe. Fear the Walking Dead, obviously. And there's a lot of stuff that has happened recently with Fear the Walking Dead. And last stream was kind of a mess because I didn't get a chance to see the episode. But now I can talk about it. Season 7, episode 15 and 16. So we'll take a minute or two to let the software connect and people to join. And if you want to be part of the live stream that we talk for the hour, 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock East Coast time, depending on where you're at, what time it is you are watching this stream, we'll be talking about the Walking Dead universe. Got to put out that spoiler warning because it's spoiler time, because we don't know what people are going to ask or do that. But please don't talk about the latest episodes. I guess 7:15 and 7:16 for the last half hour. We'll go 45 minutes because I want to talk about 7:15, as I didn't really talk about it much last live stream as well. But hopefully you're safe and sound, guys. I believe the camp in Sonoy, it's a gathering, a convention type thing that's in Sonoy, I believe, is going on this weekend. I obviously I'm not there, but if you are there and you're in the stream, that'd be pretty cool. If you're going to check it out later, if you've been there, it's always cool to see. But I know some people have been getting together and being in Sonoy and being around Alexandria, and there's some pictures up. And one of the pictures is actually on the side panel of the one entrance that they use for Alexandria. It has the Commonwealth property, Outpost 22. And it's definitely something that it's cool to see. I don't know why they have that up. Maybe it's for the fans. Maybe it's for reshoots. Maybe it's just someone put it up for this weekend. But it's cool to see that, well, I guess the walls are still up. The windmill is down. And if you have, I don't know, $1 million or so, you can buy one of the properties inside Sonoy. I believe it's Rick's house. There's definitely, you can tell what the house is, but they've filmed a couple of different locations inside Alexandria. And there's a video on YouTube where one of the people from Fox News, I believe, or Fox, not Fox News, but Fox, the local affiliate in Georgia, they talk about one of the homes that's for sale. And I'm sure they don't want everybody just showing up, seeing the house, and wasting the realtor's time and everybody's time that isn't going to buy the home. So I believe you have to have some money to go check it out or something there too. So it'd be pretty annoying if you were if you had the listing and you had to let people in to see the home, and it's and the people have no idea, they have no, I guess, inclination that they're actually going to watch or buy the house. They just want to go check the house, take pictures, video, and be there. All right, see you later. If it had an open house, there'd be so many people in there, that's for sure. But thank you guys for joining me. Thank you, Lindsay, Ada B, Wilson, Colt, Natu, Jenks, Rob K, Ringworm, Kami, Dragon, and everybody else joining in. So thank you guys for being here this Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully you're safe and sound. So it's definitely something that Fear the Walking Dead is over. If you watched the episode already, 7:16 for Season 7. Season 8 is happening. It's a go. There's no word if Season 8 is going to be the final season. But I don't know. I feel like they're going to try to get at least 11 seasons out of it. Kind of replicate The Walking Dead number of seasons at least. That would be a couple more years. I don't know. That's just an inclination and a hunch. Because AMC, what... After The Walking Dead is done this fall, and then I guess this winter, what are you going to watch on AMC? Better Call Saul will be done. Walking Dead will be done. Fear the Walking Dead, but 700,000 people watch that on AMC. What else are you going to watch? I don't know. Is there anything else good that's coming up on AMC? I watched a movie called Duel with the lady who plays Nebula in Marvel Cinematic Universe, and Aaron Paul, who plays Jesse Pinkman in Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. So it was not good. It was okay. It was a decent movie. Had a nice little twists and turns, but stuff that was kind of that's the big thing. But it's called Duel. It's a good concept. It was just a movie, and that was on AMC Plus too. So, but let me see, Jonathan Wilder, Q&A. Do you ever think of moving to Georgia to one of the homes from the show? I mean, that would be cool. I mean, I wouldn't pay unless I was a multi-millionaire, which I'm not. I wouldn't buy a house in Sonoy. Like if I'm going to spend $1 million on a home or a property, it's going to be one of two things. It's going to be on the beach where, I'm just living the dream on a beach somewhere, or shoreline or coastline or whatever, or I have a bunch of property. Like I have a bunch of land that I take care of myself, and, I have acres of land. I wouldn't buy a Sonoy house myself because it's just something that it's cool to see, but Sonoy is a nice little hometown feel, and yeah, there's kind of a Publix around and there's stuff around, but you're just buying it for, maybe you buy it then you sell it, or you rent it out. I don't know if you could do that, and I don't know if they have a HOA and stuff like that, but imagine if you did it. It'd be really smart if you bought it and then you put it up on Airbnb, and you could charge a little price tag for it. Walking Dead fans would do it. How awesome would that be? Because I know when you have the couple filming locations where you went to Morgan's place in season 3, you could actually go in there. And the people kind of turned it into some of the filming stuff that was there with the writing on the walls, and they have different things up. So that'd be pretty awesome. And I think that would be the way to go. One, to maybe cover mortgage payments or get some of your money back. That would be pretty awesome. But I'm sure your neighbors would hate it, like if you were Airbnb-ing it all the time. And again, I know that was a big thing in my neighborhood that is going to people, because it's homes are expensive nowadays. Real estate is expensive, right? And it's tough to buy a house if you don't have money, and cash offers and bidding wars and all that stuff. So people are renting their house out, putting it on Airbnb, and I don't know where they're living, but some people are doing that because they have a property where they can make a bunch of money off of that. And if you have another home, if it's your second home or whatever, because I live close to the water, I live 2 miles away from the Gulf of Mexico, but I live in this house. I'm not going to rent it out myself, but I could see people doing that in the Walking Dead homes too. So, but if you're at the camp, or you went to the camp, or you're checking this out, pretty cool stuff. I've seen the pictures, and I've always wanted to go. I don't know if they're going to have it next year. It's just been tough with, I was thinking about going because it's a newer thing, the convention that they've been doing in Sonoy, and they have some of the cast and people are there, and you can get autographs and pictures and meet other fans, and it's kind of cool to do. It reminds me kind of a smaller Walker Stalker convention. I kind of wish they had, and maybe when the world gets back to normal and COVID stuff is less, and I don't know if it's ever going to go away, but if it's less for us to go do that, getting a convention together for Walking Dead fans would be pretty cool. And you can talk about stuff and meet some of the celebrities and meet fellow fans. It'd be a fun thing to do. Yeah, I don't know if they're ever going to do the Alexandria Museum. Well, because Alexandria is an actual neighborhood. It's not a set. I think they would actually benefit from opening up the tours, AMC Studios there in Sonoy, and they set up a bunch of the sets, and you can walk around and do that. So you just go on the set, go see this. You can see, just a bunch of different sets and buildings and props and whatever. And people would, I'm sure, do that. And if you have a store, a museum, whatever, a place to buy stuff, people would do it. People would go see it, And it doesn't even have to just be, Walking Dead stuff. If they had other stuff that's filmed in Georgia or filmed whatever, it'd be pretty cool to do. But again, I don't work for AMC and that stuff, and maybe that's something to do down the road. Maybe not. Or they have it open a couple times a year where they have different tours and stuff, But Walking Dead's coming back this fall. Tales of the Walking Dead is this summer, and Fear the Walking Dead is season 7 is over. So we'll talk about episodes 15 and 16, the last 45 minutes or so. But season 7 as a whole, my opinion is not, it wasn't good. And it's a shame because season 6 was really good. I think season 6 was the best, if not one of the best. I know people love season 3. But season 6 set the tone with Teddy, the nuclear sub, the fallout. And to me, the fallout didn't really work. The filter on the screen with the yellow filter, and it was just looked crappy. And then it's Fear the Walking Dead has actually turned into a non-Walker or zombie problem. There's all these other problems. It's people. It's not actually zombies anymore. You're worried about the nuclear fallout, running out of food, who's going to backstab you, other people, trying to get over on a tower, trying to take this over, more people, water, supply, boats, this, a place to live, place to stay. It's like, why even have walkers on the show? Because they're there, but you just throw them in for filler. Like, oh, they're fighting, and then a walker comes in. Like, okay, and how many times this season have we met a character and then they're just gone in the same episode? It started with season 7, episode 1 with Will. He came in, filled in the gaps a little bit with Alicia, was a little bit of story here and there, the tower, Strand, boom, killed off. Paul, basically Arno. Howard lasted a decent chunk of the season, but he was killed off. Ollie, whatever happened with that Maya lady. She was on the boat. She got off. She heard the message. She came there. Never saw her again. Like, there's all these things that the show loves to do. You bring them in, and then you're gone. Jonathan Water, Q&A. Did you hear Smoking the Bandit turns 40? One of my favorite movies. Smoking the Bandit's older than me, that's for sure. I've only seen parts of that movie. I've never actually seen it all, too. Not Too Jank says, kids are going to be CRM trades. Padres collecting the seeds for CRM. So we'll see. I mean, I've asked this every time, every live stream, and a lot of my Fear the Walking Dead videos, where is the show going? Are they just throwing darts at a dartboard and they're like, nuclear sub, Padre, Madre, random character gets killed off, another one. You're just throwing that. And again, Fear the Walking Dead, I said this before in a live stream, it feels like it's just farting around from place to place. Okay, we're in California. Okay, we're in Gotham, Mexico, or Mexico. Okay, we're in Texas. Okay, over here. It's just farting around, making no sense. It's just laughable at times, right? And it's frustrating. I don't know if you feel the same way, guys, but I feel like the show, I'm watching it out of love for the Walking Dead universe. If it wasn't part of the Walking Dead universe, I would have stopped watching a while ago. Right? So there are some things that you could do to greatly help Fear the Walking Dead. One, bring over some sort of storyline that connects with The Walking Dead. You don't have to bring characters over. It was great that Morgan's there, and Morgan helps the show out, in my opinion. So does Dwight and Sherry. But other than that, you don't need to do that. We don't need any more of those characters. Unless, basically Fear the Walking Dead is the mainstay show, which it is, because it's going to be the only Walking Dead show that's meaningful. Tales of the Walking Dead is just basically single episode stuff. It's not going to carry over too much. But Fear the Walking Dead is going to be the main show. So you could bring people over, and I don't know how it's going to make sense, because Fear the Walking Dead is so many years before The Walking Dead, the current timeline. I think it would make a lot of sense, and I doubt it would ever happen, because Denai Guerrera is done with The Walking Dead. She's not going to film Fear the Walking Dead. But Fear the Walking Dead is going to be filmed in Savannah, Georgia now. Season 8 starts them filming in Savannah, Georgia. Not Texas, not California, not anywhere but Savannah, Georgia. And that's not Atlanta. That's not a lot of places. It's Savannah. And you can film whatever you want there. And I don't know if it's going to take place in the story in Georgia. Probably not, but it could. Because once I get into 7/16, we'll see where it's going. But I would love for, I doubt Rick's going to show up. But it would really make sense if Michonne was there somehow, some way. And I don't think it would fit, because Padre is going to be this crazy thing, and I don't think it's going to fit. And all of our theories and all of our stuff, guys, it just doesn't make sense, because they don't listen to us, right? They don't listen. They do whatever they want. Maybe it's for budget. Maybe it's for writing. Maybe it's for lack of writing or entertainment or whatever. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's COVID. Maybe it's all those things. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't know what they're doing. It's like, so I don't know, man. It's just one of those things that's frustrating. It's laughable. And, it's pretty crappy that The Walking Dead themselves, or AMC themselves, and Fear the Walking Dead, they have spoiled their own stuff at times. Like, there was no reason for them to tell us that Madison was coming back this season, but they decided to do it. And maybe they feared leaks, or maybe they feared this, but Madison is back in 7/16. And she's in a big chunk of the episode, setting up season 8. So 7/16 is basically the end of the season to roll right into season 8. Right? So, but they let us know that, and we expected it, and we were waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and they drawed it out, stretched it out, drew it out all the way to the end of the season, like they love to do. Hey man, did you notice Rick Grimes' voice in that episode, the speaker voice? Well, it's muffled. It's not Rick Grimes. I mean, it could be, but there's no way to tell who it'll be. Maybe it's General Beale, right? So we have yet to see that guy. But so let's talk about 7/15 first before we get to 7/16. And 7/15, if you watch the episode, there's no inclination that it's Alicia'S last episode. But per the episode, inside the episode with the showrunner, it's Alicia'S last episode. Just like Althea's last episode was 7/05 or 06 or whatever it was, the first part of season 7. And she's with Isabel, and then we haven't seen her since. Will we see her again in season 8, season 9? Never again? I don't know. I hope she comes back. I don't mind Althea. I think Althea is the connection with CRM. She's the only connection with CRM on Fear the Walking Dead. Morgan knows about them too now, but Althea and Isabel are the only connections. Which they teased it in whatever season it was, season 4, whatever season was, and it was like, come on. And it's been a big tease again. Nothing but a tease there too. But I think she would come, like the final season, whenever that is, if it's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, whatever it's going to be, they're going to probably bring everybody back for the final season, tie up the loose ends, wrap it all up, and see how it goes, right? And they have good actors on Fear the Walking Dead. But you're limited by what the scripts say, right? Like a lot of the good actors are there. They have comedic actors. They have serious actors. They have people that know how to act. And you buy into what they're selling, but the writing is just crappy. Like what they have turned Daniel into is a waste of his talents. He's the only one that was capable of going in and taking people out and had training, and his expertise and experiences before the zombie apocalypse were actually really valuable in the zombie apocalypse. Madison, you were a guidance counselor. Come on. Alicia was a teenage high school student. Nick was a drug addict. Like, it's just these characters, and like we're supposed to buy into them. They're going to survive all this way. Travis was a teacher. You know, remember Travis's son? Terrible. Annoying. And so many of those characters there. John Dory, he was a police sheriff or a police officer. So he had skills, and he was a sharpshooter. They know how to survive. Morgan is really adapted into being a survivor too. You know, it's like, where has it really been here? So, but Alicia goes through this whole big thing in 7/15. The little girl is a subconscious figment of Alicia's psyche, of her imagination. She's talking to an 8-year-old Alicia herself. So every time the little girl saves Alicia, I don't know how it happens because she's not actually there. That usually is great to watch, right? But Josiah came back around. Luciano was there. Charlie was there. Daniel was there. All the characters were there. It was basically the final goodbye. Strand is still alive yet again. And Strand goes to sea, and he's like, bye. And Alicia's like, bye. And then she passes out on the beach, wakes up, and looks incredible. Looks great, like the best she's ever looked in seasons ago. She's got makeup on. She doesn't look like she's dying anymore. There's a bird flies around a bunch of time in the episode. We don't know if it's there or not. Then Alicia talks to herself. She shoots the walker with her last bullet, which was kind of stupid, but it's symbolic that she wasn't going to shoot herself now. She has beat this thing. She's going to live. And they talk about she had a fever for months, right? So how did she survive all this time from a walker bite, having a fever that doesn't go away? I mean, people die of that stuff now, and it's not a zombie apocalypse. But again, it's fictional, it's crap, it's what they do. Alicia'S the main character, so they're not going to kill her off to leave it open-ended. If Madison can come back, anybody can come back, right? It's just like, come on, right? So I don't know how long Alicia was asleep, but it does bring up the question: did Alicia die on the beach? And she's dreaming, or she's passed on, these things. Just makes you wonder, because when she wakes up, she looks great. So did she actually shoot herself? Because she grabs the gun, passes out, talks to her younger self, shoots the walker, and walks to Padre. Or walks to the people as she talks about Padre. Right? So she walks back to the tower that's on fire. And I guess they killed all the... It was like so much build up for it. Like the war, no war. The radioactive walkers in the ditch, the canyon, the crater that I guess Strand let out. We're supposed to just figure that out, right? Nothing really happened with that. Again, it's like, what? But either way, Alicia'S done. She's gone, and you have to watch inside the episode to find that out. It's not explained on the show. So there's going to be a lot of YouTube videos and a lot about stuff. Did Alicia die? Did Alicia die? Alicia died. Alicia lived. Alicia's alive. Alicia died. Great. The showrunners said that she beat the thing. She emerges as a triumphant hero. I'm sure she'll be back again. There too. So let's talk about 7/16, right? So it starts, and I have my review. I'll probably make it today and post it on Monday. But it starts with this cover over the person's face. And it reminds me a lot of Terminus. Or it reminds me a lot of the lighting with the Negan lineup and stuff, right? Like they're in this kind of, you don't know what's... It basically reminds me of the Negan lineup when they're in the van and you see the lights coming through and what am I looking at? And it's season 6, episode 16. And they basically copy that. And you see this person with the... Or you don't see the person. It's just you see lights. And then it's basically Madison being taken by some group that are the Padre people, right? So we actually get, it was a lot of build-up, Padre, 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 Padre on the radio, Padre this, the book that said Padre, Padre here, Padre there, the senator, Padre, 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 nothing, until the very last episode. You know who's working for Padre? Madison. Does it make sense? No. But she is. So we got to deal with it. So Padre are a group. It's an acronym for something. We still don't know what it stands for. But you got Madre, mother, Padre, father. And it looks like Padre are going around kidnapping babies. Children. They don't want to bring the people and the families. They just want to take the kids. Which is weird. But okay, it's something different. But evidently, Madison works for them. She's a collector. She's collector number 6. I don't know how many other collectors there are, but it starts with that weird little lighting thing, blah, blah, blah. And then the next scenes are Morgan is in his raft that somehow he tied up in trees. There's like a bunch of trees around him, and he somehow got up there. I have no idea how he gets in and out with a baby. There's no ladder. There's no anything. You don't see anything. You don't see him get in and get out. But he calls people on the radio. No one answers him. He goes down. Baby Mo is crying. She's hungry. And he, goes around looking for food. And he doesn't find anything. I guess I'm just thinking about it too. He leaves Baby Mo in the raft. He goes to look for food for her. And yeah, it probably is a rope ladder, not too janks. It makes sense, but we won't see it happen. We just don't see the rope ladder. We don't see any way up or down. So it's gotta be that. But so Morgan's looking around, he's going into places, and he finds an empty formula can, and he dumps out a bag, and he looks for this and looks for that, and finds some oxygen tanks, and then goes up to another place and finds a house. The Sanderson house. The Sanderson sisters. No, it's the Sandersons. And then he goes into the house, looks around a little bit, hears someone on the radio, It's a lady calling for someone over the radio. Her name is Eva. Points a knife at Morgan. Morgan has his battle axe thing pointed at her. You're pregnant. You have a baby, blah, blah, blah. There's a bunch of pregnancy tests on the dresser. So he goes, thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. He says, we love Bri for your love and dedication to your channel and fans. You too, Lindsay. Thanks. Yeah, Lindsay Robb is my moderator, and she's an awesome person for the channel with the Discord and everything. Big shout out to Lindsay, that's for sure. Thank you, Lindsay, and everybody that's part of it. My patrons, my members, everybody. Truly appreciate it. It means a lot to me, that's for sure. So Morgan doesn't find any food. He goes back to his raft, calls people on the radio, no answer. Here's someone calling for help, like a person, not over the radio, but over there too. And there was some red around Eva, that's for sure. But Eva is the character that comes into the episode and gets killed off the same episode. There was some red flowers in a painting and stuff too, so the red theory connects, that's for sure. And also she's a red shirt. Never saw her before. Boom. Died in the same episode. They love to do that this season, that's for sure. So as Morgan unzips the raft, there's this guy in this weird cloth thing over his face. Looks like Scarecrow from the DC universe. And I guess he knocks out Morgan. The guy grabs him and takes baby Mo, and they go to the beach, the shoreline. So this group of people that you don't see their face has, weird cloths and stuff over their faces, says, we're going to stop you from what you're doing, and this is what you're doing. You're the person taking kids. And Morgan's like, what are you talking about? That's my daughter. No, just give me my daughter back, and you'll never see us again. And he's like, nah. So they put a hood thing over his head and throw him in the dugout thing in the sand, the hole in the sand. And what they basically do is they bury people in the sand up to their heads, and then they have the walkers and I guess crabs and whatever eat the people, and the people die and become walker heads, and there's a bunch of heads in the sand. So that's what these people are doing. And inside the episode, the guy talks about it's from like a old Western shows. That's where they got the idea from. So it's something different. It's okay, but it's kind of nonsense. So as Morgan's in the hole, you hear, and all the people are killed. Morgan takes off the hood thing, looks up, and there's this person tending to baby Mo. Mo somehow was not harmed at all, obviously. And so baby Mo is there in the sand. Morgan's like, I guess leave my daughter alone, blah, blah, blah. And then the lady turns around, and it's Madison. And it's a big reveal, like dun, dun, dun. But you saw it in the trailer. We knew she was coming back. It's not this big, epic, heroic, awesome thing. It's like, okay, great. Let's see what this chick's all about. What did she do? Where has she been? How did she survive? All that stuff. It's not really answered. It's kind of answered, but it's not really answered, because they're just going to gloss over the fact that she somehow died. But she suffered damage to her lungs, evidently, because she needs oxygen. She needs to keep taking a hit of oxygen every now and again, where she's like, yeah, okay, I'm good for another 10 minutes of this episode, right? So she's kind of doing like a Darth Vader thing, taking a hit of oxygen. So she picks up baby Mo, and Mo's like, all right, give me back. Morgan says, give me my daughter back. He's like, no. She goes, no, she's better off with me. I'm taking her. Madison shoots at Morgan, hits the sand. Poof. Morgan takes cover, tries to come out again, shoots at him again. He kind of takes cover, and Madison runs away. Meanwhile, she has trouble breathing. She's holding a baby, and she's running around and exerting herself. But the oxygen thing is something different. So we'll just roll with it. So she runs away to this port or this marina or these docks or some little spot. And she puts baby Mo in like a crib. And she fills out a form and says things. And she writes like BG 20 something, whatever. So she writes that she got a baby, or an egg, as she calls them. I don't know, stupid name, but egg she calls the child. And she radios her people that she has one for pickup, blah, blah, blah. Her Padre people are basically saying they'll come back and they'll be there when they get there. What's taking so long, this and that, blah, blah, blah. So Madison's tending to baby Mo, feeding her, doing whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then she just leaves the baby in the spot. And you're like, okay. So she walks away and she needs to get oxygen because her oxygen needs a refill. So her oxygen is going to run out. She should kind of have tanks at the marina and the docks, but she doesn't. So she goes back to the pediatric place Morgan was previously in the episode when he was looking for food. And she opens up the spot and where there was oxygen tanks before, and now they're gone. Morgan is behind her with his battle axe and says, "Where's my daughter? Blah, blah, blah. You don't want to do this. My people are this. My people are that. You don't know. You don't want to do this, blah, blah, blah. Your daughter is safe. She's better off with me. She's better with this, blah, 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 whatever." Morgan doesn't care. He wants his daughter back. He takes the oxygen and all that stuff from her, and they decide to walk and talk. And we know it's Madison, and we know Morgan. But Morgan and Madison never met until today. So they walk and talk and kind of come up with this stuff and come over here. And, you're getting this sense that they don't know each other, but they're going to, right? So as they're walking and talking, there's little things that come up. And Madison was on the radio, and she actually talks to Eva on the radio, talking about a child and stuff, and I can help you and this and that. But Madison's lying. She wants to kidnap the children and child and take them back to the Padre people. She has this big hammer, so she's basically Thor. She had this big long hammer where she kills these walkers and stuff with her hammer. And that's her weapon of choice. And Morgan takes her weapons and takes her oxygen and all that stuff as they're walking and talking. And Madison is basically putting up, some resistance against Morgan. And as Morgan and Madison are trying to talk, a walker comes behind Morgan, obviously. Morgan kills the walker. As Madison has a chance, she takes back her hammer off of the pack that Morgan has on his back. She swings it at Morgan. Morgan ducks. They wrestle and fight, and they wrestle and argue and this, and then Madison is thrown against a fence. But Madison also throws up punches. It's kind of funny that they're fighting each other. It's like, what is going on here? But Morgan gets taken to the ground. They get up. He gets the advantage on Madison. She gets put up against a fence. Her arms are behind her back. And for some reason, she has tattoos on her forearms now that say Alicia and Nick. And that Morgan sees them. And he's like, "Oh, you're Madison Clark." And then she turns towards him like, "How do you know my name?" "Well, so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to tell you anything else until I get my daughter back." So that's kind of the thing where it kind of makes sense that Morgan's just not going to give up information about that. And again, Madison does not know that Alicia is alive and that Nick has died. She doesn't know any of this stuff. She was at the stadium and she was willing to die for her family and willing to do this. We still have no idea how she survived, but we know these Padre people evidently came and rescued her. We don't see it happen. They don't explain it. So it's all a bunch of filler, nonsense, whatever you want to call it. But Madison was saved by these people, and she has to work for these people to stay alive, to just continue to work for these people. And we don't see these people at all until the very end because there's a radio call box thing. We hear a voice on the radio or on the intercom thing that Madison is talking to. So we don't know who it is. It's some unknown person. Is it Rick? Is it General Beale? Is it some guy? I don't know. But it just sounds like Padre or a bunch of dudes collecting kids. Like, I don't know. It's just weird. So either way, Madison and Morgan talk. The only way Morgan is going to get baby Mo back is if they take another kid to Padre. So they have to find another kid. Like, that would be so easy to find in a zombie apocalypse. But they remember Eva. Or Morgan remembers Eva, who is pregnant. He says, what if I bring a pregnant woman? Will they trade the pregnant woman for baby Mo? Yeah, I don't know. We'll try this. They have to try something. So they have to walk all the way back. And they walk and they talk. And it's something that it's just Morgan doesn't really give up that much information to Madison about Alicia and everything. And then Madison has to keep taking hits of oxygen, like, hold on. Yeah, that's the good stuff, man. And you're like, okay. And so they go back to the Sanderson home. They go in there. They talk to Eva. Eva says, all right, I'll get my things. We're doing that. As they're in the house, they kind of talk a little bit more and more. But the people that Madison killed on the beach, turns out they're the people that Madison basically took all their kids from. These people are banding together to come after them. Also, before that, when at the very beginning, there's a sign that says Louisiana. So Morgan, when he's looking for food and formula and all that stuff, it says Bayou Billy's or something, Louisiana. So there's a sign that Morgan clearly walks right by. So I guess that's where Morgan made it to, is Louisiana. That's a good amount of drifting out in the Gulf of Mexico there, that he made it to Louisiana. So it's moving further east, which is kind of cool. I guess further away from Nebraska, but he's over there now. So Eva comes out of the room, and they decide what to do and where to go. And basically Madison says that she tells Morgan that Padre wants the kids. She doesn't want the parents. She doesn't want the family. They just want the kids. And because there's no attachments and all this crap. But either way, if you're around a bunch of other kids, you're going to form attachments. Family doesn't have to be biological family. They can be friends. They can be family. They can be people you meet, your coworkers or whatever, your classmates, your friends can be even more family than your actual family, right? So it's a far-fetched thing, but this is Fear the Walking Dead we're talking about here, right? So either way, they kind of walk, they leave the house, and the people that are coming after Madison are around the house, and they say, all right, we'll come through here. So then Eva runs through these vines. She falls. There's a walker there that grabs her, and she's like, takes out the knife, and Madison comes and smashes her hammer down on the walker. Somehow Eva's bleeding on her stomach like really bad from the vines or something. You're like, man, what kind of vines are these? It's crazy, right? So, yeah, Albed Beat says, seems Padre is an acronym of some kind. Yeah, Padre has always been an acronym. We've never understood what it was. Maybe they don't know what it is, so they didn't send it here, and they didn't tell us in season 7, so they just had all these filler episodes until now, and then Padre will be explained in season 8. So it's like, what? So they go into this mausoleum crypt thing that's on the Sanderson, I guess, acreage, the land that they have. So they go into the crypt, which is basically a mausoleum. They close the door and talk. So as they're talking about different things, this is where they spill the beans about Morgan tells Madison about Nick. He was killed. Alicia was bit, and he doesn't know the fate of her. She could be alive. And so it's like all these different things come out. Madison clearly says, I don't want to find my kids. I don't want to know anything about them, because basically I guess Padre would have used them against her, and she didn't want to do that. But she also says that she doesn't want to find her kids, so she's not going to go look for She's not going to go look for Alicia in season 8. I guess not, right? Because that would be the big question: is if she knows that Alicia's alive, and Morgan says that she got bit, she was sick for so long, and then Madison said no one survives bites, but we know that Alicia is different, and blah 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 blah. And Alicia's last episode was then, so she's not going to come back around again. That doesn't mean Madison's not going to stop looking for her. So we'll have to see if that is pulled off in season 8. But again, just let it go. Let's go with some other thing. But it doesn't make sense if Madison doesn't go to try to look for Alicia. We know that Nick is dead, and that Madison starts to break down and gets upset about it. Eva is... Madison has like a... I don't know, it's a fetal monitor thing that she puts on Eva's stomach, and she doesn't hear a heartbeat. And Madison's like, what? You're not pregnant. You were never pregnant. And then Eva's like, you don't remember me? You took my child 6 months ago or something. Like so Madison already took Eva's child. So Eva was actually using this whole setup to go to Padre to go find her daughter. And so that was the whole thing here, that Eva's not pregnant. She was pregnant, and it was a big kind of a setup thing to get collected by the collector, one of the collectors, Madison. So Madison is definitely someone that has been doing this for a while, and you see that in the episode where she's taking all these stuffed animals and all this stuff and this toy car and all this stuff. So where she's collecting all these kids. Like, it's so easy to do, by the way, right? Like, she's a supreme operative superhero that can just go and collect kids like it's easy. And she has no scratches, no scars, no nothing. Her leather jacket that she had in season 4 looks perfectly the same since season 4. It's just laughable. So as they're in the mausoleum type thing, there are all these walkers on the outside of it, so they're trapped in there. And they're arguing and they're talking, and so Eva decides to get the idea of, I'm going to grab the hammer, smash the oxygen tank. Boom, the oxygen tank's flying around the mausoleum all over the place like a Looney Tune cartoon. And then Eva smashing the grave of her grandfather and inside the mausoleum, and she's like, poof, 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 reaches in, grabs a shotgun that she knows is in there because her grandfather died knowing that he wanted to be protected if he didn't make it into heaven or something. So she grabs the shotgun and she's like, and she's ready. And it's just kind of funny, right? So so you got Madison and Morgan. They're trying to figure stuff out. And it's basically a lull in the story so Madison can find out what happened with Alicia and Nick. And Morgan can spill the beans about this. And then we find out that Eva already had her daughter taken and all this other stuff. So basically they find out all this stuff and Madison breaks down and cries. And we see the prior stuff of her taking stuffed animals where I guess are her taking kids. And she kind of feels bad for what she's done, but she's had to do stuff, and she didn't know about her kids and didn't know about this, but now it kind of changes things, but then it's like it's crazy too. So Jon Snow rules. So Madison is a villain now. Not really. She's not really a villain, but she was different. She's definitely a different character, but it's kind of the same. Still a terrible character in my opinion. She had way more emotion in this episode than anything. But it was just one of those things where you're like, this character still isn't doing it for me. It just wasn't. I'm not like AMC, The Walking Dead one. We love Madison. Do you though? Were you really excited though to see Madison, and were you happy with her story in this return episode, AMC, The Walking Dead one? Let me know if you were happy with it. So either it is what we got there too. So ultimately, the people that are coming after Madison, they don't know where they're at on the radio, and they decide that they're going to give up Madison. They're not going to give up Madison. What are they going to do? How are we going to do this? Blah, blah, blah. All the walkers outside. Again, you hear all the walkers get killed off. They want to come in. They let him in. They take Madison away. And the guy, his leader, takes off. That's really generic there, AMC The Walking Dead. Yes, Kim Dickens is awesome. Good. I'm glad you're happy of it too. So either way, the people that were going after Madison, they basically had their kids taken by Madison. So they've been trying to go after Madison. Well, then shouldn't they know that Morgan is not one of them if it was Madison? Or I guess they thought he was one of the collectors because Madison is collector number 6 is what it says on the Padre book that you see at the docks. So, but it's one of those things where they take her away, but you know she's going to live, right? And we know that Morgan's going to live, and Morgan's not going to kill Madison, even though he puts his battle axe towards her throat several times, and it doesn't happen. So as they take Madison away, it's Eva, Morgan, and the other people that were taken there too. So Morgan talks to Eva, and Eva says, I got to give the stuffed animal back to my daughter. At least I think it's daughter. It could be a son, but I forget her child. And you see this green little worm thing. And so it's a nice little thing. And it's, a nice little moment. And they emphasize it there because later on we see it in the episode when Eva dies. So Morgan tells Eva, you don't have to go with them. And she's like, I got to go because I have to go get killed off with the rest of these people. No, she doesn't say that, but that's what happens. The leader of the people that got Madison talked to Morgan, give him a little mask thing. And he's like, nah, I don't want this thing. Well, then make sure you stay out of my way. Okay, no problem. So they all walk away, and Morgan is there, by himself. The next scene is laughable because it just looks funny. Is Madison Clark, sand up to her chin, and she's stuck in the sand. But they don't do like a great job with it. You can see the jacket and you can see whatever. But she's having trouble breathing because she doesn't have her oxygen. And it's just this head in the sand. It just looks funny, right? It's like a bad beach day. If you're going to the beach today, be careful. Be careful. Wear sunblock. That's for sure. So she's in the sand. Like, I can't make this up. Like, this really happened. So she's in the sand with her head in the sand, like Alicia and Nick buried her in the sand kind of thing, like a fun thing, but it's not like that. So she's looking at the water, and the water's coming in. And then magically 3 walkers come out of the water and start walking towards Madison. I don't know what's drawing them to Madison, but either way, it's just a head in the sand. And so the walkers are coming towards her. And she's remembering taking the stuffed animals and all these stuffed animals and a tiger stuffed animal and this stuffed animal and this toy and that thing. And she's thinking Padre and these people and prior conversations, and the walkers are coming and they're coming and they're coming and they're coming. And then the walker just falls in the sand and starts crawling towards her. And Madison's like, and then whoosh, Morgan comes and saves her, chops the face of the walker off. He didn't kill the brain, by the way. He just kills the front of the face of the walker, and then stabs the walker, and then kills the walker, and then starts freeing Madison from the sand. He's like, you don't deserve to die this way. You don't need to do this. I'm going to take this sand here. Going to be very dramatic. Sand. Keep doing this. Talking. Sand. Okay. Madison, you can help a little. She's just like, yeah. Like, she doesn't really like wiggle out of the sand or move at all. And he's like, moving. And then Morgan's like, oh, I'll get the oxygen. Hold on. And then he runs away from her. Meanwhile, 3 other walkers come out of the water. And it's the people that were going after Madison. The Padre people killed them. So Morgan is getting the bag of oxygen, and then he runs over and kills the walker and kills another walker, and then another walker comes towards him. And we see the stuffed animal thing on her belt. He puts his battle axe to keep her at distance, takes off the mask, and it's Eva. So Eva died. It would be sad if Eva wasn't just here in this one episode, but we don't have time to like build bonds with these people. There's no settlements and communities that the world building is just not there. We don't have a lot of the stuff that, we care about in this show. Like, Ava seemed like a nice character that was trying to get her daughter back. And you can feel for that type of person. But she comes and goes and she's killed off. Like, what are we doing here? Like, it's just, I don't know. So we got the fact that Morgan is kind of taken back that Eva has died and is a walker now. And so he's like holding her back and wrestling with her, and then he trips and falls in a ditch, and he's like, holding her back, and it's all dramatic, like, and Madison's like, Morgan, and she's reaching for her hammer and reaching and grabs it, and then she grabs it, and then she goes ding 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 ding, and like trips all the walkers. It's just funny. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Like, what 3 Stooges write this show? But she's like boop, 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 boop. And then she's like, eh. And like, remember, she's like sands up to her like chest now, and she's like, and she kills the walkers. It's just funny. Like, how much force can you really have? And they're like newer walkers, but it's just laughable. So then as Morgan is like fighting with the walkers, who saves Morgan? Madison kills the Ava walker with a hammer to the back of the head. And then they get up and they say, well, no one's gone till they're gone. I heard your daughter say that. And, well, I'm gone, Morgan. I'm actually gone. You're not gone. Don't do it yet. You're not doing this. Blah, blah, blah. We're going to work together. Well, I have an idea. Let's do this. So Morgan comes up with the idea. He looks at the radio cassette player and the headphones, that he's basically going to give up his whole group that are on the rafts floating in the water and say, hey, I don't have all this stuff. I don't have a child, or I don't have this, but I'll give up my friends. don't worry, they're floating a bunch of people there. And again, there's a bunch of people there besides Strand and Rabbi Jacob and Daniel and Charlie and Luciana and June and Dwight and Sherry. There's a bunch of expendable characters there. So I'm sure they're going to take some of the kids or the people there too. Have yet to see the kids where they've been. Maybe they are Padre. That'd be a great way to bring them back around in Padre. But where have they been all this time? Maybe we'll see them in season 8. I really don't care much, but it's a loose end, and we know how they feel about that, right? So Alicia, I'm going to say Alicia. Madison, there is no Alicia. All you see is Madison, Mo, and Morgan in this, baby Mo, in this episode. So they go to the port, the dock, the marina, whatever it is. So there's I guess a person from Padre that's escorting Madison and Morgan, and then 2 other people from Padre. They're all men, by the way, right? So I'm guessing Padre has to do with men. It just doesn't make sense because it's Padre, acronym, and the Spanish word Padre. So they talk about, I don't have a child or an egg. I don't have anyone to trade you for this, but I have a group that's floating in the water. Where are they? I don't know, blah, blah, blah. So then they put them on a boat, and it's a little like motor boat thing. It's a small thing. Again, you have the person steering the boat and the 2 other people from Padre, and then Morgan and Madison sitting there, and they're sailing away. And Morgan's like, so where are we going? Where's Padre? And Madison's like, well, that's the thing. I didn't get around to telling you. I don't know. She doesn't know where Padre is because she's never been there or seen it. She's been in storage containers talking to people, so she's never actually seen it at all. So then she's blindfolded. He's blindfolded. The small boat starts to sail into the water or be driven into the water. And then you see a Coast Guard cruiser type thing that they're sailing to. And that's how it ends. So Padre will be seen in season 8. The Coast Guard cruiser thing looks a lot like the cruiser that Michonne was on. I'm not saying it's the same one by any means, but it just looks very similar to it. So is it the same boat, similar model, similar thing? I don't know what to make of it, but it'd be kind of cool for that. And that's the season right there. So basically you watch all this filler about the tower and Howard and Strand, and then Alicia comes around and Padre, and she got bit and that, and then the Josiah, Rufus brother stuff, and the wrestler chick Mickey, which was kind of cool. Hopefully she comes around again. They have good additions to the cast, like John Dory Sr., June, Althea. Characters have been good. Sarah, Wendell, they've been good for the show, but there's too many characters left around there too. So if Padre wants nothing to do with adults and people, and they just want kids, why would you keep Morgan around? So when you go and find Strand and Luciana and June and Dwight and Sherry's pregnant, as we know. I wonder what's going to happen with that. So will she have her baby? Is there going to be a time jump in season 8? In this episode, we see that Morgan and I guess Madison and everyone they're in Louisiana. So I don't know where Padre actually is located. Is it an island? Is it a place there too? I don't know, but some of this stuff kind of sounds familiar. I'm just going to say that. But it's one of those things where the tower basically was Strand's place. They talked about a war and a battle. The tower gets set on fire when Strand and Alicia fight. Alicia stabs the gasoline container and gasoline comes out. The sparks from the beacon ignite the flames. It gets on fire. Everyone leaves the tower. And there's no one there in the tower. Maybe Alicia goes back to it at the end of 7:15, but we don't see that. We don't see Alicia where she actually ends up, where are the people that she actually talked to on the radio. We'll have to see too. Yeah, so Kimmy says nothing came of the tower after all that buildup. Not really. I guess there was. There was stuff where Strand had the tower. That was his place. Some people went there to live and stay. Kept them safe. He got baby Mo. They couldn't attack the tower because of baby Mo, which doesn't make any sense. But either way, they couldn't do that. Then they get baby Mo out of there. Then they go attack the tower, or they don't. Alicia goes and talks with Strand. Some meaningless, pointless characters die, except for John Dory Sr., who sacrifices himself getting Baby Mo out of the tower. Howard, who was Strand's right-hand guy, was set up by John Dory Sr., and Howard should still be alive, but that's the fall and demise of the tower. Wes traded sides, was killed by Strand. It's like, basically, you have season 7 was a huge waste of time to kill off some characters, bring in some new characters to kill them off, but Strand still alive. June still alive, Grace still alive, Luciana still alive, Daniel still alive, Charlie has radiation sickness poisoning, but she's still alive. Dwight Sherry still alive, Rabbi Jacob still alive, kids, no idea where they are, I guess still alive. Sarah Wendell still alive. So Strand was like this big villain for season 7 in the tower and this and that. And that really wasn't a villain. Alicia says, well, then I would take this tower and I would do this and blah, 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 blah. And then they're like, I love you, Strand. I love you, Alicia. I love you. Bye. Call me. And that's it. Great. And, and then like, okay, well, the big reveal was Madison coming back at the end. Jabez says, what happened to Rick? Where's Skidmark? Asks Lindsay. That's a great question. Skidmark is MIA. And again, they bring stuff in like Skidmark, like Rufus, like this stuff for short-term things. You're like, what is this doing? Like, there's just no formula for it to last. Like, I was thinking about this. I was like, am I too hard on this show? It's just frustrating to watch. Am I this? You know, like, The Walking Dead wasn't perfect and isn't perfect. But they were basically working their way. Then they got to the CDC, and then they left. The farm, they were there for a whole season. Then they left. Went to the prison for season 3 and half of season 4. And then Terminus, which was a big setup. It kind of paid off a little bit. It was very short-lived, but it kind of paid off. Which I feel like Padre is kind of a Terminus type thing. Build it up, send it out. Padre, Padre, Padre. Radio messages, come here. Those survive basically. Except if you're an adult, you don't go to Padre if you're an adult. They just want kids, which is weird. So, and then Terminus went away, but then they got to Alexandria in season 5, and Alexandria is still there to the end of the series. 6 seasons later, it's still around. Then you go to Hilltop and Sanctuary in there too. So it's like, it's what it is, right? Not to know. I'm sure I'm a lot rough on Fear. But I don't think I'm being, like, unrealistic with it. It's just frustrating. Like, if they got to the ranch in season 3, they should have stayed there. That should have been Alexandria. That should have been the new thing. And you can go from story after that. And the ranch is their spot. But I don't know if it's budget, time, locales, locations, where they're at. Then they go to the stadium for half a season, and they're here for half a season, and this for half a season. You know, it's like such an annoying thing to have. And it just feels like they don't know what they're doing. It just feels like it's all over the place. We're going to write this stuff in. We're going to actually have radiation be a problem. Okay. But you're not going to solve that. Like, just get away from it. The United States is huge. Go do it. Right? And at the end of it, right, we've been asking, why don't they just leave Texas? And it just took them a whole season to leave the tower and leave Texas. In 7:15, they got the rafts, they got the boats, they got the dings, they got the this, and they're on the way. A bunch of them. Morgan drifted away to Louisiana, far away from the bombs in Galveston, Texas, far away from all that stuff, and magically, it's not a problem anymore. It's not a threat anymore. Don't need to worry about it anymore. Waste of time. And I'm sure Fear the Walking Dead is not the only show and won't be the only show that does this, where stuff doesn't make sense and you know, if you ever watch Sons of Anarchy, I think that's 5 or 6 seasons, and I want to say it's season 3 where they go to Ireland And that's like way too drawn out. It's like a whole season in Ireland. And it's like pretty annoying. But it's not every season where they do that. When they go back to Charming and back to this, it's like, okay, they were there, done that. They had their little story and they moved on from it. But on Fear the Walking Dead, it's like California, water, Mexico, Texas, different part of Texas, this Texas, that Texas, over here, over there. Fly an airplane, crash an airplane, come over to this plane. Denim factory, nope, not a place there, not going to go there. Tank Town or Lawton, nope, done. But the ranch was actually really great in season 3. And then they decided to have the dam explode and this explode and that over here, and then they magically just showed up. The hot air balloon, the beer bottle hot air balloon. It's just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, you can't take it seriously. Like, you seriously can't take it seriously. But ultimately, guys, there you go. That's my take on Fear the Walking Dead Season 7B, Season 7, Episode 15 and 16. Madison is officially back. I believe next week, Talking Dead will be on AMC. It'll have Alicia Debnam Carey. She recorded some stuff. She wasn't actually at the studio, I believe people said. Madison, Kim Dickens will be there, and then at least one of the showrunners will be there too. So Season 8 will be Padre. Ocho for Padre. I guess Ocho con Padre. So we'll see what happens, how it goes down. I don't know. Tales of the Walking Dead, that's next. Jon Snow rules. Tales of the Walking Dead will be this summer, and we don't know the dates yet, but hopefully it comes out soon and they let us know, because next week is June. Have a safe and good Memorial Day tomorrow if you're going to the beach or the shore, like I said, in Jersey, or if you're going to have a barbecue or family, friends, some there too. So I don't know if you're doing anything. Be safe and sound. If you're shooting off fireworks, definitely be safe. Don't recommend, holding fireworks in your hand or anything like that. There's a lot of injuries, all that. I know it's a 4th of July thing, but some people do for Memorial Day. So be safe and sound. I'll be back next Sunday to talk about all things Walking Dead. Hopefully we get some more news and we find out some stuff about Tales of the Walking Dead. I hope that's a good show, and I think it looks like it could be. Again, even though if it's going to be, just single episodes, that bottle episodes basically too. So thank you guys. I'll be back next Sunday, and remember, guys, with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals. Believe in yourself. You can do it. With hard work, keep working hard, guys. You can do big things. I've watched the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan on Disney Plus. Very good. And the first episode of Stranger Things, Season 4. I'll be talking about Better Call Saul and stuff over the summer and every episode like that. If you recommend any shows or anything, definitely be checking them out. And also, one of my favorite shows is Animal Kingdom. That'll be back this summer, I think in June as well. Thank you, guys. I'll see you next Sunday.